Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for the InduSoft and SchneiderElectric Packaging Automation webinar. My name is Scott Courtier. We have a very special guest today, Mr. John Partin with Schneider Electric. We are going to be presenting today some information related to packaging, the industry, the trends, some Schneider products, some InduSoft demos and templates and features. And this is just based on customer requests that we've had. If you don't know this, we record these webinars, and later on we'll be sending out a survey and an email as to where you can find that webinar recording. And in that survey, a couple of things. If you let us know your shirt size and address, we're going to send you a free T-shirt for joining us today. We really appreciate that. And also on that survey, if you let us know how we did today or what you'd like to hear in the future, we'll try to put that content on. And that's, again, where this content for this webinar comes from, because we've had a lot of requests for more packaging information and how can we use InduSoft products and Schneider products in packaging. So that's why we're doing this today. Also, if you're interested in co-hosting a webinar with us, we'd love to hear from you. Always excited to see what the customers are doing with their products and how they're implementing them and solving problems. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let's see here. So again, my name is Scott Courtier, and I'm Senior Technical Sales with InduSoft. And today I'm going to be covering a demo that I have, another packaging demo. We've got a handful of those, some templates that are available for packaging, some InduSoft features that are related to packaging, and some resources available to you. And John will be covering, among other things, some of the products from Schneider, solutions, robotic offerings, some software support offerings from Schneider, as well as some trends. And then we'll open it up for questions. Again, we can't hear you during this webinar, so if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, feel free to put those in the chat panel or the Q&A panel. We'll try to get to those during the WebEx. So what I thought I'd cover first is a fairly recent packaging demo project that we did. This was done as a proof of concept, and we'll shortly be turning it into a demo that we'll put up in the sample applications up on the website. Among having several screens, there's in fact, I'm going to show these here in a second, but there's a PackML screen in here, as well as kind of a different concept that we haven't done before, which is showing a machine and allowing multi-touch with pan and zoom and pinch and zoom, and as well as this kind of neat concept where, depending on the alarm that you get, it will highlight an area of the machine with a circle and then allow you to touch on that circle and then open a PDF, a screen, a video, whatever you choose. So I'll show you how I'm doing that. So with that, I'm going to jump into the demo here. And again, this is not yet up on the website, but we'll shortly be, probably later this week. We'll put that up there maybe early next week. So a couple things here. As many of you know, we've got a multi-document interface. In this case, I've got a header up here showing some status, the time, some buttons coming to every screen. In this case, we've got some alarm status information. Actually, this is a smart message that we're scrolling through some different messages just to simulate what could be done, company logo, things of that nature. Also in this demo, we're kind of highlighting that style is up to you. You can really define anything that you want to, and we've just kind of highlighted some of the button styles that you could take on if you wanted to. Some trends in the HMI and packaging industry in general is kind of a minimalistic approach, grayscale kind of subdued themes until you have a problem and then show it highlighted in red. So here I've got a slide out menu, which I've demonstrated in several other demos. Here we've got a machine graphic, a setup screen. So for example, some of the setup information, in this case, we could display a manual, a PDF that you could scroll through. Again, using multi-touch works really well with this. Here we're playing a video that could be from a camera, from a webcam, from lots of different sources. In this case, we're just playing a locally stored file, but this could be for a training video. You know, the idea is if the machine's not running, get it running again quickly and show things like where's the fan filter, where's the this thing, where's that thing, location, and just help the maintenance staff and or operators keep the machine running quickly. Here I've got built into this demo the InduSoft packaging brochure, where we've kind of taken all the different types of machines from, let me see if I can zoom in on this, feeding, blister pack, vacuum pack, capping, conveyor, material handling, et cetera, cartoning, labeling, wrapping, inspecting, and we've kind of broken down some of the features from within InduSoft Web Studio that are available and what could help you keep your machine running and keep it running efficiently. So back to the home screen. Here is, many people will have alarms. So here I can simulate some alarms. But one of the things that we've done is in this, we've taken advantage of there's some custom fields that you can create in InduSoft Web Studio. You can add up to 10 custom fields to any alarm. And so what I've done here is I've taken the idea of taking an alarm and that custom field, given it a screen name. So now, depending on which line you're on, we can go to a particular screen based on an alarm condition that could jump you right to where the problem is. Here, notice that we've automatically circled maybe where the problem is. And I'll show you how I'm doing this here in a second. But one of the things that InduSoft Web Studio has built into it is multi-touch, which can be very handy for taking a look at machines and zooming in and things of that nature. So I don't have a multi-touch monitor here, but you can see that I can position this machine anywhere. And so what I've also done is put some zoom in capabilities. And notice that the circle follows on the machine wherever the problem happens to be. So let me simulate alarm number 1 that happens to be in this panel here. And as I zoom in on it and position it, notice that circle follows. So I'm going to show you how I did that as well. And notice that depending on which alarm you have, in this case, I've got this alarm. If I click on it, here I'm opening up a screen that's using what's called screen mnemonics, where here I'm opening up screen number 1 based on alarm 1. And this could be a PDF, this could be a video, this could be any kind of help that you want. This is just a concept, just an idea. And then notice if I go to alarm 2 and I click on it, this could be a different screen. Notice this is alarm 2. It doesn't have to be a screen. It could be lots of different opportunities. Again, provide the operator or maintenance staff the ideas to help the machine get going and running quickly. So those are some of those ideas that I wanted to kind of highlight. Also in this demo is the PackML template. And here it shows you the steps. You can walk through this and shows you the steps on how to clear any issues. Go ahead and once that's going, hit reset and then let this run on through. So we've got the PackML template built into a few of our demos at this point. So I wanted to go into the development environment and show you kind of how I configured that. So this machine graphic, what I've done is I've justified it all the way up in the upper left-hand corner as well as this circle. And this circle we've set up to, depending on the position, the vertical alarm and the horizontal alarm, it will then take on the position to move, and the rest of this is scaling along with the machine as well. So it'll resize along with the machine size, and it will move when you move the machine. But this alarm vertical and this alarm horizontal, what happens is each one of these alarm conditions, in this case I'm simulating these, will pass in the number of pixels, horizontal and vertical, where that circle should show up on the machine. And then based on scaling factors, it will follow that machine depending on if you resize it or reposition it. So kind of a unique concept there. I don't know if we've done that in a demo before, but again, providing the tools to try to keep a machine running, and if it's not running, get it running quickly. So that's some of the ideas. So I wanted to show you that demo, and again, we're going to put this up on the website probably early next week or so. And moving along, some of the templates and add-ons that we have for InduSoft Web Studio. We have as I mentioned just now, a PackML template. We have an OEE template built into the PC demo. Let me go ahead and show you that because that's quite a unique or really nice tool. Many of you have seen that before, but just wanted to, for those who have not seen it, wanted to show you. And this is the PC demo, which is included with InduSoft Web Studio. When you install it, you get this PC demo. And when I run this, in addition to showing all the different features in the product, in this case, I can see animations and active objects and things of that nature. Here under Solutions, in addition to the PACML template, we have an OEE template, which is Overall Equipment Effectiveness. And for those of you who don't know, the concept is, for example, if a machine is supposed to be running, let's say, 8 hours a day, and it's only running for 6, what is it doing for those other 2 hours? And in this case, we can drill into many different machines. Let's say choose a machine on the line, see its overall equipment effectiveness, take a look at the 6 big problems for the current shift, the day, and notice that this data is changing, the week, the month, the year, and drill into that as necessary to help you understand what's really going on with the machine. The idea is measure things, don't guess. Humans are notoriously bad at understanding what's really going on and keeping track of all that. So really just measure that and log things to a database or where you can actually see that information and fix the easy problems, fix what we call low-hanging fruit, fix the easy problems and then keep that machine running. And you won't have to add additional people or add additional machinery. We also have this business intelligence dashboard, which makes it real easy to grab data from any data source, SQL database, Microsoft Access, and then just point it to the data, tell it what you want to see, and it comes up on the screen. That's pretty nice. We have a machine builder template up on our sample applications that's kind of a pre-built template for you to work with. It's got menuing and navigation and input and output screens and machine screen. And then fairly recently, we've added an Addon screen add-on, and let's see if I can call that up here real quick. Make sure that I give John enough time to present. So the Addon screens, and this is coming shortly. It'll be available. Actually, it's available now, but I'm not sure it's actually up on the web. So we did a webinar about it a few weeks ago, and so if you're interested, go take a look at that webinar. I'm just going to kind of highlight some things here. So here's the template, and I can go ahead and log on, and let's see if I can remember my password here. And once I get logged on, then I'll be able to go in and configure things. So for example, I could go set up and add, let's say, areas of a plant where maybe I have a plant and now I want to add a zone or an area. So let's say zone 1 is kind of in the plant. And then now in zone 1, maybe I have multiple machines. So here I could add machine 1, and then within that same zone, I could then add machine 2. And you probably make these more descriptive than I am, but you can see how this tree view then starts to build. And then once you get this, and there's a lot of different features in this, and I highly recommend that if you're interested in this add-on that you go take a look at the webinar. Then you can actually start to dive in and drill into data that was collected based on time and date and different information. So it's a really, really nice tool, pre-built and very easy to configure. So I wanted to show you that. And let's see, just a couple quick more things here. Some features related, built-in communications for really just about anything you're going to need. Allen Bradley, Modbus TCP, Siemens. We have OPC client access if you need that. We can talk to other things besides PLCs, temperature controllers, drives. Tag integration is a feature that we have for some of the drivers to allow you to pull in the tags directly from the PLC, pull in the I/O addresses so you don't have to configure that. We have connection to Wonderware Online, one of the things that's cloud-based, and this tool is really kind of nice. You don't have to really build anything. You just tell it what you want to go to, and then you can pick the type of charts you want to look at and dive in and analyze that data. Recipes to reduce product changeover times. Recipes are built into that demo that I just showed. I'll again make that available probably next week. Scalability, the idea of being able to create a single project for multiple machines, or the idea of having a standard machine, a high-end machine, and a low-end machine, and having one project that fits in auto scales for all of those. That's kind of nice. I did a project years ago that actually took 50 different machines and created just one project to handle all 50 different machines, so it made it real easy to maintain and update. And then if you're not aware, especially for the food and pharmaceutical industries, we have features for security and traceability based on the U.S. FDA standard of 21 CFR Part 11. So feel free to check out any of the tools that we have for that. And then we also have lots of webinars and packaging information. I mentioned that Addons webinar that we did recently. Feel free to check out the website. So lots of good information here. And I'm going to go ahead now and hand it over to John.
Well, thank you, Scott. That's a great introduction. A lot of good things. My name is John Partin. I'm the National Packaging Sales BDM for Schneider-Electric. I've been in motion control now for, oh my goodness, about 25 years. The last 10 or so have been specifically involved with the packaging industry, helping OEMs and end users automate machinery to make them more reliable, more precise, and more productive. I'll get right to it, but primarily we're going to review some of the products that Schneider-Electric has. And as Scott can attest to, Schneider has been on a large acquisition spree over the last, 30 years. Started out with Modicon and Square D in the United States, and has gone on to packaging machinery automation companies such as Eli and Bergalar, and now the software side with Wonderware and InduSoft. So now we all have a great solution under the Schneider-Electric umbrella that we're finding a lot of people aren't aware of. So I appreciate everybody taking time to sit through this presentation today. But Schneider-Electric is a global energy specialist. We have building automation, we have factory automation, data centers, and utilities and infrastructure. So my group falls into industrial machinery division, which is about 27% of our revenue. So we're not a little company by any means. And Schneider does a great job reinvesting into the organization for new products, new solutions, new services for our customers. You see a graph where 25% in North America, Europe, the rest of the world, and Asia. U.S. headquarters are outside of Boston and North Andover. We have 24,000 employees in the United States. And if you look at InduSoft and the packaging group, we're knocking on 75, I believe. So we have a lot of people to help support and service our customers throughout the country. This, we want to highlight OEM solutions business. So last year we sold over 200,000 CPUs. CPUs is a PLC or a pack drive controller. 190,000 servo axes, and that's plus, you see we're growing from last year. And the motion or industry business that I'm involved in is 650 million euro globally. We are an OEM-focused market, and these are the three vertical segments. Material working, I'm in packaging, and we have an HVAC group. These are just a highlighted names of end users that have equipment with Schneider-Electric controls. Some of them use Schneider-Electric for specialty machinery that other machine manufacturers cannot do without Schneider-Electric controls. But we have this list because of either we got the information from the OEM or these end users have called us for some sort of support for diagnostic software, for spare parts, something along those lines. So this is where this information came from. So we'll get into the products. Schneider-Electric has a very scalable control architecture. We start out with a more simplified machine that has PLC controlled and go with a controller inside of VFD, a little more advanced PLCs and small HMIs, more advanced PLCs from there. Oops, let me go back. Let's try that. And more sophisticated control systems. We can go up to 130 axes of coordinated servo control with one centralized controller. Our HMIs, Schneider-Electric owns Digital, which manufactures our Magellus and ProFace HMI offer. We have simple terminals to IPCs and HMIs up to 22 inches, and graphical HMIs with keys if needed. We have stainless steel bezels, and I also do customized bezels for customers that want to have their name on the outside of the HMI. This is a unique product that came out about 3 years ago. It's a very low-cost unit. It can be a standalone HMI and PLC for very simplified machines, or it can be a remote monitor at the end of a large line for customers to get information, replaces push buttons. But the unique feature is it has a 22-millimeter push button hole that you stamp in versus having to cut out a square for traditional HMI product. So it does save time, save costs, and easy to implement. And there's two sizes, 3.8 and 5.7. This sort of goes into our Servo Drive and stepper products. We have some integrated, low-cost, standalone with the drive, communication, and motor system. These integrate to Schneider control systems and a variety of other control systems for setup axes, typically. And we have some standalone servo drives from the 23, 28, the 32. They have a BCD-coded input or a field bus connectivity to give them positional information. These are typically used in sequential type move applications. The Lexion 52 and Lexion 62 products are traditionally used with our pack drive controller where we get into more coordinated motion control systems. The coordinated motion control systems gets into some of our robotic offer. We'll go into more detail a little bit later. This is a control, drive, power segment, and motor. This thing is an interesting product. It's a Lexion 32i, and if anyone has seen the Cowboys Stadium, 32 of these are actually in their billboard section to manipulate the screens they have up there. So every time you watch the Cowboys, and I live in Austin, Texas, so I get to see that often. We also have some linear products. We'll go a little bit later with that. And SchneiderElectric was the first to release an integrated motor. Our first one came out in early 2000s. It was actually a triangular shape, specifically for capping and labeling machines on a turret system. And we have a stainless steel motor as well. These are our linear products. We sell standalone belt and ball screw driven slides. We go up to, I believe, 3 or 4 meters, depending upon the structural needs you have to do. We can do standalone, single direction, or we can actually build an assembly for you based upon your needs. I have a number of customers that are getting an assembly from us. Let's see. So in addition to all the hardware, control systems, servo products, we do have a full line of safety products, from safety relays, safety controllers, safety PLCs, and even a safety PLC that resides on our Circus bus for our high-end LMC control systems. All right, our packaging solutions. So I talked about simplified control systems. So, we have PLCs, a little bit of remote I/O, and maybe a VFD for a conveyor type system. We have that 22-millimeter push button HMI with remote I/O, a VFD, and a servo drive for maybe a slightly more complex system, and a more powerful PLC, more remote I/O, VFD, and servo drive. And then we get into the higher end PLC solution with our M251 remote I/O, and we can do CAN Open. It is a native field bus on all SchneiderElectric products, the most economical field bus. But as we get more precise and more high-speed data exchange, we have an Ethernet protocol also. All of these have available in different field bus connectivities to communicate up and downstream. And so more centralized and decentralized control systems can be expanded upon also. These are our high-end packaging solution controllers. This comes from the ELAL acquisition. We have 4-axis, 8-axis, all the way up to 130 axes of centralized coordinated motion control system. This gives you some examples of 255 Circus participants, so we can communicate to the different third-party Circus 3 products. These are Circus 3, Ethernet-based protocol connectivity for I/O and motion control. We have online CAN generations, 5 microsecond PLC process time for 1,000-bit instructions, and easy connectivity. We have a variety of field bus connectivities we can do with this controller. This is a typical control architecture with a pack drive control system, be it our 4 or 130 axes controller. This is that Serco's PLC. The gray line in this particular diagram is indicating Serco's. We can talk to a variety of the SchneiderElectric VFD products, or we'll set up axes with different field bus connectivity if need be. And the controller can do all the in-feed, out-feed axes, as well as 1 or up to 8 or more robotic kinematics on one machine. This shows our different motor technology. We have our own rotary motors. We have our own stainless steel motors. If we need to get to a certified explosion-proof, direct drive, or linear motors, we can run a number of third-party products with certain kind of a feedback that will interface to our amplifiers. This is the 3rd generation of our integrated servo product. We call it the ILM. The previous generation to this was called our ISH, and the previous generation to that was called our SEL. Primarily, we have a power supply and a control module. We go to a distribution box, and the motors can be daisy-chained to one another. This is supposed to signify a turret of some kind, and the motors are easily daisy-chained one to another. We can go up to, from one distribution box, we can go up to 36 ILMs on one machine. And we can have multiple distribution boxes to have another 36 if need be. Our robotic offering, we have 3 different sizes of our P series robots. We have, start the smaller end, the P2, 800 millimeters or 31 inches. That's from a lateral motion. The P4, that's what we came out first. So we actually have 3 flavors of that. We have a standard, which is a full hygienic, which can take caustic washdown. The flat can take more traditional water type washdown. The compact is used where washdown isn't a huge requirement. We also have a P6, which the standard version of that is 1,600 millimeters or 62 inches lateral motion, but it has an asterisk. We're doing custom lengths of upper arms and lower arms to get larger reaches and deeper depth. If you're interested in this, we can go into more details with these. The products all across the range can go up to 15 kilograms. There's no one on the market that has a Delta that can get up to 15 kilograms, which is pretty impressive. At 15 kilograms, we cannot do the 106 picks a minute, but it will give you a lot of variety within a Delta robotic system. And here's another example of the MAX, our linear actuators combined in a robotic gantry or portal style robotic kinematic system. These are our 2-axis Delta systems, the T3 and T5, which have heavy-duty options, and 77 pounds with the T3, 99, or 66 and 99 with the T5. And we have different horizontal reaches. So these are a lot of case packers. Might go from one conveyor into a box, so it's one direction. That's a little bit slower than, say, the P4s that we highlighted before. And this is sort of an example of a robotic system where we have the centralized controller, safety, as well as remote I/O, and safety I/O can be on a standard line. We can have multiple robots with P2, P4, P6s, and T3s and T5s if a machine requires it, as well as a Cartesian or gantry-style robot. We also can communicate to KUKA and Stoveblade robots. They have Serco 3 interfaces where actually the kinematics are actually done within the pack drive control system. You'd still have their drive box next to them, but everything else would be done in the pack drive controller. Excuse me, I had to get a drink of water. But we have some software available with packaging solutions offer. Basically, we're an IC 61131 environment. We have multiple, 5 different programming languages you can take advantage of. But we also offer a standard frame and message error logger. We have a template for 8 axes. You can choose to use that or not. Access modules. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. A pack drive library that we've evolved over, the ELOG group has started packaging only in the mid-90s. So we've evolved this packaging library since then. You can utilize PLC open libraries and system libraries. All the firmware levels and revision are handled in our centralized controller. And fully modular subsystems. On the packaging group, we're very, very involved with helping our OEMs decrease the learning curve with the use of our software. We understand it might be a new environment, or definitely the pack library we have is a new feature to them. So we are hands-on with local engineers and support to make the learning curve as short as possible. This module. Packaging trends. I think I went through some of these trends at the InduSoft office last summer, last fall timeframe. But there are a number of packaging trends that are coming out that I don't know if you're aware of, or some of these things might make sense after you hear them, but we'll review those. Driven by end users, industries, standards, and laws. So these are typically the most common trends are led in pharma and food and environmental and industrial Internet of Things, big data. So we'll review these real quick. So the packaging trends, sorry for all the verbiage, but the advancements of robotics and overall machine line is growing growing at a faster rate than other segments. Increased throughputs and reduced contaminations is huge. The packaging of pharmaceuticals is going to smaller batch for personal medications, and because of that, you need faster automation. Change is critical, so you need to automate. Individual dosing, reduce the bottles, as well as if you live in the Northeast or other areas, the opioid control, it's a very, very big deal. Track and trace, you may all remember the Tylenol scare a few years ago. We need to know exactly where a batch of product is shipped and be able to retrieve that. So track and trace has only grown since that experience years ago. PackML is being pushed a little bit in the pharmaceutical, but some of our food and beverage customers, P&G and Nestle's, are 2 of the largest pushing PackML. OEE has been around since the 60s and is finally getting a foothold in North America. And as Scott presented, we have solutions for that, and there's different ways to implement them. Food trends, you see this in the supermarket all the time. More single-serve items that my kids love for lunch. They don't like making their own things anymore. They just want the packaging that are single-serve. Ready-to-eat meals for all those people on the go, but also food safety, risk analysis system, measurement and verifications. I'm working with more and more customers, yogurts, juice boxes, all sorts of customers that want to make sure they fill it to the exact amount. They don't want to be underfilling, but they don't want to overfill and reduce their profits, kind of thing. Sealing confirmation, temperature confirmation is huge. With shipping across the country, there's tapes now that they can put on a package that can guarantee that when it shipped the factory, it was a certain temperature, and that temperature was maintained throughout shipping. So there's different ways to use automation to make these systems more viable, lower costs, reduce costs of materials because the machines are more precise. Recycling. All of us probably have a secondary gas or garbage can that we put all of our recycles in, but more and more materials are being recycled. And I like this line: today's recycling is tomorrow's raw materials for paper, metals, and plastic. Reduction of carbon footprint. We're using less corrugated paper or packaging materials and all sorts of products, which is helping reduce the carbon footprint. Carton packaging, case, pallet materials, going from wood to recycled corrugated, reduction in overall waste, and therefore using less energy in overall production of products. ISO 5001. I don't know if any of you have heard about this. I have about maybe 10 or 15% of people that I talk to are familiar with this, but this is a new regulation coming out in the near future where they want end users to know the energy consumption of their machinery. Within our pack drive control, we can tell you how much current and power is being used by each axis from our centralized control system, but to actually monitor the overall energy of the machine, you might need an energy monitoring device on the input, and SchneiderElectric has a variety of options to do that. PackML, we touched about, and Scott talked about a little bit, is actually a product from OMAC, and the Organization of Machine Automation Controls. And again, P&G and Nestle approach them. We want to be able to integrate our lines quicker and more efficiently. That was sort of the genesis of coming up with PackML. So to have a line up and running quicker, PackML common tags were used to make that happen. But we're seeing it more and more. We can do it in two ways. With the InduSoft Machine Edition software, there's a PackML screen that you can take an existing code and make it PackML compliant by selecting the different variables or tags you want to replicate the different functions within PackML, or you can use a library that we have in our software that would, when you first write the code, you can make it PackML compliant. But different OEM organizations such as ProMach, every time they build a new machine, they make it PackML compliant. Packaging trends, multiple protocols to communicate with various upstream and downstream machines. We have standard on our high-end controls, 3 different protocol systems. With the Machine Edition software, we communicate OPC. They also have a driver to native code assist to get the information out from our system very easily. We also have Ethernet IP, Profinet, EtherCAT, all sorts of different communication protocols. Gen 3 was a series of machines about 5-6 years ago. The machines were Gen 3. Integration of robotics within one controller. The Delta Robot patent expired in 2005, I believe it was, in Europe, and 2006, in the United States. So that's why you're seeing a number of Delta robots come out from various control suppliers. SchneiderElectric is the only one that has a patent on a total stainless steel upper and lower arm solution. Nobody else can do that right now. The Gen 4 machines are where we are now, integrating industrial Internet of Things, big data, OEE, preventive maintenance, track and trace data, and leads to smart cities, smart health, and smart manufacturing. But primarily, I did do some research to get these trends, and these are some of the sources that I use: the PMI Organization, Packaging Automation, ARC Advisory Group, GEPA, and some of the information from Technology on the Edge by Keith Campbell's blog. But this is my contact information. This is my cell number, and I'm in Minnesota right now, so that's the best place to reach me, or email is fine, and I'd love to get you in contact with the local Schneider person to see if we can help you in some way. I do appreciate your time and look forward to your questions. Thank you.
All right, John, thank you very much. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
All right, sometimes I forget to unmute myself as I start talking, and it provides for some awkward silences. Hey, if I could ask you to go back a couple of slides up to I think there was a food slide, maybe 3 or 4 up in there. Yeah, right in there. One of the things that I wanted to talk about is food safety. Just complementing what some of the Schneider products can do in addition to, the Schneider InduSoft offering is, food safety and monitoring temperatures and ensuring the temperatures were maintained. But not only that, but something near and dear to my heart is food allergies. Product changeovers are often a big thing in plants that produce multiple product. We're producing, for example, corn chips today, and then tomorrow we're going to be producing potato chips. And, just to make sure that the wrong product doesn't get in the wrong bag is something that we can help maintain, especially with recipes and vision systems and things of that nature. So I wanted to comment on that, some complementary offerings that we have. And then if I could have you go back down to your trend slide with the 4 different stages. I'm forgetting what you called it. And again, we're opening this up to questions. If you have any questions, feel free to put those in the chat panel or the Q&A panel in the WebEx interface, and John and I will try to get to those. Something else I wanted to point out, which is in the Gen 4 machinery. If you weren't aware of this, InduSoft has come up with a product focused on the Internet of Things. It's our license that will allow you to run InduSoft on Linux or VxWorks based operating systems, and this kind of completes the solution, if you will. So again, we have it open up for questions. What I'm going to do, John, is I'm going to take back presentation status from you here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up InduSoft Web Studio and talk a little bit about filling in that solution idea of, if we have, for example, this product running on an embedded operating system, whether it be, let me stop my project here. So InduSoft Web Studio, if you're not aware of this, can actually run on Windows Server, Windows Desktop operating systems, as well as Windows embedded operating systems, Linux, and VxWorks. So now picture in the grand scheme of things, this idea of Internet of Things, being able to run InduSoft on devices that you might not have ever thought of running. Could be power monitoring equipment, could be temperature controllers, could be valves, flow meters, things of that nature. But in addition to that, not only the HMI portion, or what a lot of people think of InduSoft as the visualization part of it, but really tying in the database connection to this. And what gets really, really interesting is being able to run InduSoft on a low-end device, and now being able to collect that information to a plant-wide database, or even to the cloud, being Wonderware Historian. And now taking the Wonderware Historian product and being able to view that on the web or on a smartphone. There's an application dedicated for smartphones and tablets. I think it's called, John, if you can help me out, I think it's called Smart Glance.
Yes.
Yeah, and so then being able to then analyze that information, and most importantly, then act upon it. You're not collecting data just to collect data for the sake of collecting data. I always look at it as kind of like a motion control feedback loop, where if you know where you're at and you know where you want to be, then you can get there. But if you don't know where you're currently at, it's going to be tough to get there. So what this allows you to do is log data from devices, either machines or even lower end, as I'm talking about this industrial Internet of Things, log information up to a plant database, to a cloud, Wonderware Online account, let's say, and analyze that data and make changes that benefit the production. So that could be done with a complement of Schneider products, as John showed some of the hardware, the InduSoft product running on low-end devices, mid-range PCs, things of that nature, collecting the data up to the cloud, and then using maybe a complement of Wonderware InTouch or other software products to be able to round out the solution as a whole. So, John, I sorry, took up some kind of your time, and I wanted to throw that out there as a big picture item. Do you have any comments?
I appreciate you interjecting, Scott. And SchneiderElectric has a number of capabilities, and we don't advertise very well, so I think we appreciate every opportunity we can to share what we can do and how we can help.
Yeah. I think I just gave that whole spiel and didn't show my screen. So let me go back here and talk about this. So here is in the InduSoft product here I can go into these different license levels, whether it be on Windows Server, Windows Desktop, or embedded products, including Linux. And then the other thing that I showed was I opened up a trend, and not only being able to, from those very low-end devices, being able to log to a database, but also the Wonderware Historian. So that's, and I just don't happen to have that license here, but I just thought I would show that. So again, we've got it open up for questions. If you have any questions, put those into the chat panel or the Q&A panel, and John and I will try to get to those. Right now, I don't see any questions coming in. John, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, we're going to be next week at a PMI event, and PackExpo is coming up fast and furiously in early November. So you'll be able to see some of these solutions in person. But if you do have any questions or want to run an idea past me, please don't hesitate to contact me.
Again, John had posted his contact information. I have shown some contact information about InduSoft. If you have any questions, want to know anything else, want to host a webinar, want to give us feedback, we'd love to hear from you. Again, we're recording this webinar. We're going to post it on the website here in just another couple of days. And the packaging demo, I'm going to package that up, zip that up, and then put that on our sample application site here in the next few days. So with that, John, I'd like to thank you very much. I don't see any other questions coming in. I'd like to thank you for attending, for presenting, and good information. I learned, we're part of Schneider, and a good portion of what you showed, I have no idea, had no idea what that product was. So thank you. You enlightened me anyway. Yeah,
you're quite welcome. Thank you.
All right. With that, I think I'm going to go ahead and call the end of the webinar here, and everybody for attending. Thank you very much. Let us know how we did, and give us your name and address in our survey, and we'll send you a free T-shirt just for joining us today. So thank you very much. Everybody have a great day, and that's the end of the webinar for today. Thanks.